Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Today I'm going to show you a fun card. It was inspired by a couple of different cards that my friend Susan showed on our online demonstrator meeting this week. You may have seen that. If you're a demonstrator, you might have watched it because we talked about some demonstrator things. And if you just like stamping, you might want to watch it because sometimes we show some fun cards. But she showed some projects she was doing at her camp, which is also the same days as my camp this week. And I needed one more camp project, and I needed to use up some of the come together paper because I have a lot of it. And you know, I'm ready to move on to some projects for Christmas. So I'm going to use the Gather Together stamp set, which she did on some of hers. So I'm kind of going to tie, add a whole bunch of the things that I liked of her things together. And then she also used the new paper cutter, the paper trimmer that Stampin' Up! Has. It's not available to customers yet. If you feel like you have to have it, like right now, then feel free to sign up and be a demonstrator and part of my team, and you could actually get this as part of your demonstrator kit. We don't have a date yet when it's going to be available for customers, but it won't be too long, I'm sure, since demonstrators can get it. So I've actually made a sample card. Camp is in just a couple of hours, but I was going to cut these little pieces of paper, and to cut them, well, you'll see what I mean. In order to cut them, I needed, I can use the other halves of these. So instead of wasting them, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and film. So everybody's going to get a full piece of cardstock, and then they're going to take one home. Susan's doing the same thing for her camp, so I'm stealing that idea from her. The original card I made is on vanilla, so we're going to see if I like this better on peacock, and then whichever one I like better, that's the color they'll get tonight. So far my card's on vanilla. We're going to try this one on peacock for the base. So if you've used one of our paper trimmers before, we also have a scoring and a cutting blade. The scoring's still in the gray. So we're going to score this at 4 1/4, which I have not used the new one yet because mine just came last night. So let's see, I should have marked it 4 1/2. So this is 4 1/4. That's what I get for not marking it first. So this is 4 1/2. This is 4 1/4. Yeah. But we'll see if it's not 4 1/4 because it won't work. So score it at 4 1/4 this way, and then 5 1/2 this way, which the half should be easier. And usually on mine, and before tonight, I will mark cutting and scoring on my blades with a Sharpie. It just helps people to remember, because you know, one wrong zip with the scoring blade and nothing happens. One wrong zip with the cutting when you meant to score, and then your paper's ruined. So now we just have this scored at, so we have 4 equal panels. And then you're going to put it in, and now you do want your cutting blade. And this is why everybody's going to take one home with them, because they're going to end up with an extra. So you put point to point in. I don't know if this is hitting on my camera because I have the new one, you know, and I haven't figured out how to use it. So I can see yet. I don't know if there's a way that I can. But just go all the way down from point to point. And this one's not going to hit quite all the way, so take it out. And then just take scissors and just snip this last little bit right here. Just like that. And then you'll have 2 card bases. You might also need to just snip right up here if this one didn't cut all the way through. The end right there. So now we have 2 card bases, and I'll show you how to fold those. One they'll get to make tonight, and one they'll take home. Then we have, this is why I'm doing this card, because it uses a bunch of this paper. This is going to be the inside. So this is cut 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and then these are going to be the pieces that they can are going to decorate, and it makes 2. That's why I wanted to do this now, so I can use these tonight. Now I want these 2 pieces. They are cut 5 1/4 by 4. The other piece is 5 1/2. And then I want these 2 pieces to be the ones that are going to show on the front of my card. So this is very important in my figuring out how to make this card before I asked Susan for help. Actually, I asked her for help on the measurements because I just thought I'd wing it, and I didn't wing it so good. But then I also discovered that the side that you want to show needs to be upside down. And you know, this is still pretty, but it's not the side that I wanted, partly because I wasn't using any of the berry color. So just put this in your paper trimmer, again, corner to corner. This is exactly what I did for the card. And now, some people in class tonight will have an up and some people will have a down. It doesn't matter. You just have one of each pattern. And again, I want this side to show. Otherwise, your triangles go the wrong direction. And I can tell you that from experience. Because I cut them all looking at the side that I wanted, and then these were the sides that showed. So I have now a bunch of triangles going the wrong way. First, I have them going the wrong way in the wrong size, and then I didn't lay them on my card to figure out that they were wrong. So then I figured out the right size, and by the time I got it all figured out, so I had the right pattern showing. So that's all we need for the cutter. I figured that out, and then I laid them on there, and it was the wrong way. So now to fold up your card, you want a nice good crease, so grab your bone folder. One goes up this way. Well, if I can grab it, and one goes this way. So it's just a fun fold, but it's super easy, and it just takes one 8.5 by 11 card piece, as you saw. And now one of these will go here, and one will go here, and then somebody else will have one that goes here and one that goes here. And then this piece here is going to go on the inside. I have a little piece of tape. I have extra scrap paper because I'm going to spray it in a second. Is this the way? No, this isn't the way I want it to go. Let's go. This is this way. Yes. So you want this to open and this to go up. Maybe that's the way I had it. I think it is the way I had it. Maybe not. I don't know. You know, there's umpteen ways these can open, but this is the way I want mine to open. I don't think it is because it looks like I scored it different. That's the nice thing about pressing these nice and flat with the bone folder, is now it stays like this. So we're going to take these like this. Again, and that's why it's important, because you can see if I cut these this direction, they go the opposite way. So let's layer all this first. And I found it was easier. I just opened up each panel so you could kind of see, because it's all peacock on peacock or vanilla on vanilla. And this way you can just kind of see the panel that you're actually working with. So just layer that on there. And like I said, my original card's on vanilla, so we're gonna see which one we like better. And then open this one up so you can kind of see what you're doing. And put this one here. And then we have this. This is one of my favorite pieces out of it, just because I'm a sucker for wood, as you can tell from my table. And this one's cut 5.5, so it fits the whole thing. So now we have our card base. Everything's already, actually mine's a little bit big, or else I didn't move it all the way to the top. But whenever that happens, you just cut, because I did cut it 5.5, so one of my things is not quite 5.5. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's do our stamping. There's not a whole lot on this that stamps. I have a peacock pad and the little pumpkin out of the come together. Well, actually not the little one, it's the big one. There's two little ones that are together and this larger pumpkin. And then I have the words for the inside. And because I've double mounted my stamp, I will have to read them to you after I stamp them. Stamping them here on the wood. It says, may this season bring you smiles and love that will last you all year. I wanted to say long, but it does not say long. So that's all of the peacock that we need. And then I have the copper. And I'm gonna do this little thing of wheat. Just add it up there. Just gives a little highlight. The copper is going to come into play later. And partly I wanted to use the wheat because I haven't used it yet. I'll probably do one more Thanksgiving card with this set. Then I'm going to color this with my blend. And this is, now I got ink on my hands, the Light Pool Party. And I'm just going to kind of brush it on here because I'm just going to try to mimic the paper. So see, here's this. I thought about stamping it in the brown as well, but I liked this look. Especially, and that was part of the reason I decided to switch to the peacock card back to see how I liked that. So just a little bit. You don't need to, it doesn't have a lot of blending or anything on it. And now we'll do our die cutting. So we've got a few different dies. We have, first we'll do this one. This is actually out of the Spectacular Bash, which is the monster set that I've used a lot. We'll also be using it at this camp on our Rice Krispie card, Rice Krispie treat, but not this shape. And this frame, the frames that come in it are beautiful. And you will be able to use them all year round. None of them actually go like our monster shapes. So feel free to get them and not get the monster set like I did. But don't do what I did and get the frames and then decide, oh, I think I want the monsters, and then don't save your 10%. And I have found this one. This is the peacock foil. On the cardstock, it goes perfect, like they punched out fine. One roll through. With this foil, it's a little bit thicker, so I'm just gonna do it twice through. It just helps it. You can see how much better now all those are popping out the second time. So then let's see, look, they all just fell out when I put it on the table to make a nice little mess. Then I'm gonna do the pumpkin. And again, you can feel free to line all of these up one time and then go through. I would rather spend my time rolling real quick and having them come out perfect like that than trying to fix them all. Okay, now here's a fun little trick we're gonna do with this one. You're gonna take your copper pad. You can already see what I've done. This is some more of the come together paper. So just take your die. This is part of the reason my fingers are dirty. And just press on here. Doesn't have to be hard, but you just want some ink. It doesn't have to be terribly inked. You can see some is a little inkier than others. And just lay that on here. And then this is the same piece of the come together. I'm just going to use the other side. Grab that. That on there. This card has a lot of little different things, which is always a fun thing to do at camp, to try new things and see if you like them. These are different kind of dies. This wouldn't work with every kind of die. And again, just one roll through on these is fine because you can see they popped. And if they pop and you roll back through, look how pretty this is. See it? Where it gives the little veins in it, it also has the little copper, and it's really pretty on this darker one. Look how pretty that is. Okay, that's all the die cutting, so we're almost done now. So let's mount this together. We'll need take your pick tool or a pokey tool, paper piercing tool to get this out of here because it's so ornate. If you don't roll back and forth and then upside down with the foil, then you will spend some time poking. If you do what I did, then it should all fall out. Look how pretty that is. It's really pretty on this paper, and it goes nicely with this suite, even though it's part of the Noble Peacock series. It's a great thing about Stampin' Up! Is all of our stuff matches. You want to be careful. We're going to mount this on just everything on the top panel. So what I did was I flipped it up, and then I mounted on here, because if you mount on here and you go over, then you're going to glue your card together. And you don't want to glue your card together. So just put a little bit of adhesive here and work from this. I'm going to go this way because this is shinier and this part's going to show. And then I did from this tip to this tip, so it was kind of half and half. Then we have these wood elements that are also from the Come Together suite. And I've used the feathers on a couple of different projects. So now I'm down to where I have lots of the little log bits. So I'm going to use those on here. And it has this hole, so we're going to use the Come Together ribbon. We're going to use both of them. This is, I think, the first time that I've actually used both bits of the ribbon on the same project. I love the ribbon. And this was why in the end I ended up pulling, originally this leaf wasn't on the card, but the hole bothered me. And I was like, yeah, that hole needs to have something going through it. Otherwise it just looks like your wood has a hole and you forgot to put something in it. So I've looped this around twice and made like a U. And then you need to poke it. And then you're gonna need your pokey thing, or take your pick again, because to get all this to smush through here, you're gonna have to force it. Especially if you're on camera and you don't want it to take forever. You could probably do it another, like take a few more minutes. But see, if you do it that way, you can just pull it through. So now when you have your U on this side, just open it back up. Just like that. So your U's back open, and then just feed this through. That way you're not going to have to tie a bow. This card does have ribbon, but I didn't want bows on it. So pull it back through this way, almost. And then just pull them tight. And then that second U that's up there, just pull that apart. And then again, I'm gonna put this, I want as much of this to show because it's pretty. So I put this just off to the side here. And again, you wanna put your adhesive on your card and not on this, otherwise you chance gluing your card together. Just like that. Let's take our leaves. Just kind of pop it up a tiny bit. You can pull it up just a little bit. If it doesn't come up like that, just kind of lift it up with your take your pick and kind of force it under there. I didn't put any adhesive on the top of my leaves because I kind of like when it does that. See how they're lifting up? And then our pumpkin. It's going to go right here on our wood piece. So now we have a panel that when you open has all of the pieces on it. But if any of this had adhesive, then you would chance sticking that together. Now, one final little step. This card looks like it should take a lot of time, but it really doesn't. This is probably my favorite step and why I have this trash paper over here. I have taken the refill for the Delicata pad, the copper, which you could do it with any of them. And I put it into one of our misters, and these are super cheap, and I always have a ton of these on hand because there's so many things that you can do with them. I just took regular alcohol, just rubbing alcohol. Mine's 70%. And I just squeezed some copper in there. There was no counting because it doesn't really come out in drops. It's more of a fluid. So I have my old yucky bone folder back from when burnishing was in. Every time I look at this, I'm like, yeah, we should burnish some stuff again. That used to be like a thing. You know, things come in and out. We were remembering when we used to put our old, I don't know the best way to do this, probably this way. Our old puff paint snow on our brayers when we had the hard brayers and make suede out of them. Because you know everything that's old. And then you just want to press, but you don't want to press too close to your card, and they need to be quick pumps. Let's see how pretty this is. Now it has a little bit of shimmer, but I also wanted to open it up, and this is the other reason I wanted to switch to the peacock, because I did it on the inside of the vanilla, which is pretty. It kind of looks like shimmer paper, but it'll show more on. And I wanted to get the back of this too, so you didn't have just, and because it's alcohol, it dries super quick. So there we have that. I'll let that dry for just a second. I should have opened this ribbon before I started filming. And you can tell why my hands already had glitter, metallic appearance to them. Oh, come on. You can never find the opening to these when you need to. It can't be that difficult, right? Try not to stab the ribbon. Let's just cut a little bit of this. Let's do your take your pick. Still getting ribbon with it. Yeah, this was not smart not to do it before. There was just a tiny bit on my other spool, and I knew there wasn't enough to go around the card. There we go. Okay, so the idea with this is you want to be able to make a belly band with your ribbon. So kind of hold your card closed. Snip this off. And when you tie it tight enough that it holds the card closed, but not so tight that whoever you give it to won't be able to just slip it off and then slip it back on. Because if you tie it too tight, they won't be able to slide it back on once they take it off. So just kind of let it sit up like that, but don't tie it so tight, see, like that. So it will definitely hold it closed. And then just don't pull this so it pulls the card closed tight. Kind of like hold it up like that. And then just trim these ends off. Like that. And then take your paper one more time and slide it in here. Because once you put that copper on here, the ribbon, even though it matches the sweet, doesn't match quite as well as it did before. So just put that on there and just give it a little spritz of copper. And then when you pull it out, then it ties the color together. So here's this one on the peacock, and here's this one on the vanilla. I do like it on the peacock better. This vanilla is just very obvious vanilla. But see, you need to be able to slide this on and off. So if it's too tight, it won't slide off and it won't slide on. And here's the inside of this one. And I knew when I sprayed this that I really wanted a card that was a little bit darker. But there you go. Hope you enjoy that. If you haven't tried putting the dies on an ink pad before you run them through, if you have any of this type of die, do try that. It's a super fun technique. So everybody have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye.